Hey everybody, it's Chugga Conroy. Welcome back to more Splatoon. Last time, we arrived in Octoballs and met Captain Cuttlefish, who, like it or not, enlisted us in the new Squidbeak Splatoon in hopes of getting back the great Zapfish from the Octarians. This time, we're gonna be continuing on our quest, but let's say we talk to him real quick. I never actually did before. I guarantee you that the Octarians are behind that UFO crash. The hero suit really suits you. Youngins in town don't believe me about the Octarian threat. Well, who's crazy now? You kids think you're so fresh, but you can't touch my squid style. I can't produce much ink at my age. That's where you come in. You kids think you're so fresh, but you can't touch my squid you're kind of repeating yourself. I know that you're very old, but... Oh! I completely forgot that you can walk away at any time mid-lecture. That's amazing. So he really does repeat himself, and you really can just walk off. All right, well, let's not walk slowly. Let's instead go off to the second level that I didn't mean to enter. I'm too fast for myself. I didn't even get to see what it was called. Lair of the Octoballs. Splat your way to the top. Tentacles, balls, yeah, you put the pieces together. I actually didn't mean to go in there quite yet, because we got something quite important that I want to go over now that we got our repository of fish eggs. All of our gear in Octo Valley is upgradable, and we can also get some new sub-weapons for our hero shots. I will be trying to upgrade these all as much as possible. I do want to prioritize getting all the different moves that we can have as sub-weapons. They are very good, but you can see what all the upgrades will do before you get them. Increasing ink capacity and all that. Yeah, we can switch using the D-pad at any time. Yes, I'm tapping. Thank you. That was auto. It wouldn't let me go there for a second. Let's go in. Now, our target is the Octoballs with no more interruptions, and right at the front of the lair. Check it out, new enemy. Shaped like a missile. He's got fire shooting out of his butt. He's got 2 legs with sneakers on them, and he spontaneously combusted. Looks like an Octoball to me. Okay, no, it's not. It's a robotic octopi, completely separate enemy. I don't know why you would begin a stage called Lair of the Octoballs on something that's not an Octoball, but I'm not a game designer. Up ahead, we have a blowfish. You inflate them with your own ink, and you get the most violent, inflatable death this side of Dig Dug. It's very satisfying, kills the enemies nearby. It makes it so that you can collect anything that the ink hits. It's just all around really satisfying. And once again, I kind of somehow doubt that we're truly the good guys here for doing that. Aw, you got your sneakers stuck in my ink and you can't get out. Well, you know what? I just saved you a lot of trouble of having to clean your shoes off. It's not at all a satisfying time. Seriously, it's the worst, like on the way to school when you like step in a puddle of mud and you have to deal with having like muddy shoes all day and like the insides are wet and it soaks into your socks. I'm sorry for any traumatic experiences I might have brought up. Speaking of traumatic experiences, I don't know what fish thought it was a good idea to lay their eggs on a power pole, but okay. Up ahead, these are the titular Octoballs. They roll around, they get stuck in your ink if they roll into yours, but they leave a trail of their own ink color behind them, so they can ink a lot of turf just around here, and yeah, they can get out of hand if they're allowed to ricochet off of stuff, though, but just shoot at them, you'll be fine. They're not too terribly difficult. Try to bombs more, and wow, speaking of, what? Speaking of ricochet, that was cool. Get another checkpoint, and, oh no. I knew I wanted burst bombs first to deal with this guy, but I didn't think it was gonna be coming up this quickly. This guy is a squeegee. To demonstrate what he does, he doesn't directly hurt you, but he will suck up any ink and he is unkillable. Your shots merely stun him. What I like to do is throw a burst bomb at a wall, have it instantly explode, and then I can just very easily deal with it, I guess. That's what I like to have them for. They're just really nice to have for that reason. That's why I recommend that as your first upgrade, because squeegees, they get rather annoying, and they're probably my least favorite enemy to deal with, even though they don't directly hurt you. It's always the enemies that are completely non-violent. Wait, can I go up there? Hang on. I'm going to go off on a tangent from my other tangent to see. Okay, no, you can't. I didn't think you could with this lip right here, by the way. This is adorable. Just a little sound effect, it's so nice. Anyway, it's always the enemies that don't directly hurt you that are the most obnoxious in any game. It's just not only enemies that are not equipped for fighting yet still manage to annoy you, but these guys don't even acknowledge that you exist. They're just minding their own business and they still manage to be an annoying threat to you. Squeegees, they fall into that category very nicely, or very not nicely, because I don't like them. Excuse me, thought I could make that jump just fine. Give me those. Now we can go up. Okay, you are a checkpoint. I was about to say, are there 2 launch pads next to each other? This is my grip here. You guys, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. I was trying to shoot them without shooting the crates under me, and then I just wound up destroying the tower in about 2.5 seconds flat. Launch pad ahoy! Now, this is kind of interesting. We have a wall up ahead that is super, super tall. We wouldn't be able to shoot that with just our default range. I didn't even see what enemies those were. They died so quickly. We could try shooting at it. And there are some balloons there that, you know, if you jumped up a little bit, you could technically aim at them. There is a squeegee right there, which he can face my bomby wrath if he wants to. Even if he doesn't want to, he will anyway. That wall would be kind of difficult to climb. We could technically do it by just triangle jumping with our burst bombs and recovering our ink by swimming around. But let's not do that. Instead, it's time for the heavy artillery. That. You can just paint the wall with these missiles. We can also deal with these octo troopers. They didn't even know it hit them, nor did the zap fish. That, I hope I can safely jump down. Yes, I can. You can't deal with my burst bombs, buddy. You can't, no, don't. I was gonna tell you to suck on that, but don't actually suck on that. No, stop. Just keep doing this. Use our burst bombs to climb up the wall, and here we go. Gotta break them out again. There is our zap fish. We splatted our way to a bicycle helmet. We didn't get the sunken scroll. I'll be right back. I know exactly where it is. Right past the first squeegee, I was too busy being angry at the enemy to remember this one. If you look below you, you can, oh wait, no. Didn't mean to fall directly on that. I wanted to grab our sunken scroll, and now I'll meet you at the end of the stage once again. By the way, if you were curious, they were 3 Octoballs. Probably spawned into the most screwed situation they could have ever possibly spawned into. I truly feel sorry for you guys. Upper management gave you no hope. I guess there's no better time to show what happens when you clear a level that you've already cleared than the time that we're clearing a level that we've already cleared. Mario 64 has got that whole transparent star thing going on. Splatoon has easily got that beat. Look at this. It's a badly made plushie of the zap fish. And you pat it on the head as if it were a real one. That wasn't so bad. Not only did we get that bit of visual humor, but we got twice as many fish eggs from having to play the stage again. We Octarians dwell in a world deep underground. The individual caves in which we live are connected by a network of transport devices known as kettles. Wow, you learn something new every day. I like the teacher Octarian in the upper corner who has like a little pointer finger and like a mustache with a tie. That's adorable. Get a closer look at the artwork, and that's looking pretty good. We have 217 fish eggs, not doing badly for ourselves whatsoever. That was kind of a short single-player stage. They are going to get longer with time, so don't worry. It's not going to be just completely dominated by other stuff. There is going to be a lot for us to do and see, but for right now, they are starting off kind of small. With that done, let us go back to Octoballs Plaza, where we can do some other things. Before we get into any sort of turf warring, I want to show the Booyah base, as there's some new stuff here for us. This is also totally the wrong shop. Wow, how did I think this is the correct one? Well, we can meet somebody that I very, very much like, Jalonzo. Jelly Fresh, thanking for blah. A fashion crime is in progress. Moldy customer is moldy. Jalonzo is in great shock. Level 4 is being required. You are needing more of the fresh for the shopping. Play regular battle in lobby for the freshness, yes. Then again visiting, please. He's like some kind of awkward crossbreed of a French accent, a Japanese accent, and Count Dracula. If you recall the fat cat that we saw on our way to our turf wars last time, he said that we'll want to get to level 2 and then check out the local weapon shop. And I think we're gonna do just that, as we have reached level 2, and yeah, it's right here. This is Ammo Knights, run by Sheldon, a minion, a horseshoe crab, yes, a horseshoe crab. But he looks like a minion, I'm sorry, he totally does. Like, there was clearance for it, never mind, anyway. So yes, we wanna look for some new weapons. Our weapons come in sets, a main weapon on ZR, a sub-weapon on R, and yes, a special weapon. I've already been over this, you're doing my job for me and doing it a day late, sorry. Sound complicated? Well, don't worry. You can always press Y to try out any of my products before buying. And if you want more info on sub-weapons and special weapons, just press home and read the manual. Very, very easy. Yeah, I don't really need to look at your information because I'm going to be going a lot more in-depth than this. Yeah, okay, whether you're newbie or pro, learn to use the set effectively, and you'll be a force to be reckoned with, he says. I guess that settles what our weapon of the day is, so how about we get into it? Well, not quite. Before we do that, I want to go over this in the equipment menu. Sheldon was saying that before we buy, we can press Y to test weapons, and you can do this with ones that you already own as well. So how about we do that just now? Doing this will take you to a training mode. There's some dummies in here that you can shoot at. They have 100 HP, the same amount of health that is needed to KO an enemy in versus. You can get a feel for a weapon's optimal range, how much time it takes to kill at a given distance. You can get used to things like shot deviation. It's just all around a really good mode. One of the best tips that I can ever give. Before you play any weapon at all, take it in here. Even if you're used to it, you can always use the refresher. You don't lose anything by trying. There's some other types of dummies that have defense up on them, so you can see how much damage you'll do to an enemy that has defense up, seeing if it's at all worth carrying any sort of damage enhancing anything. It's just all around really good. These right here have 500 HP, so if you want to get a really good feel for how much damage you're doing per second, these guys will let you do that. Always go into training mode before playing anything. You have absolutely nothing to lose. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the actual weapon. I'm gonna warn you right now, this is probably gonna be the longest bio in the entire series. The reason for that is, actually a couple of reasons. This is the first instance of a weapon having multiple kits. That is, the same main gun, but with a different sub-weapon and a different special, allowing for different styles of fighting. Yeah, the Splattershot Jr. has one of these as well, but we're saving it for later for reasons that you will see, well, later. The Splattershot has not 2 different kits like most weapons do, but 3, and they're all actually pretty darn good. 2 of them especially you're going to be seeing in play a lot. So I wanted to give them all the time and attention that they deserve. They managed to all be great weapons in their own right. Why? Well, the Splattershot is a very balanced, easy-to-use weapon that most beginners can get to the basics effortlessly. There's almost no map that it can't play at least decently on because it's so average. Compared to the Junior, it has better range, better damage, and better shot accuracy, but at a slight cost of firing rate, spread, and ink economy. The Hero Shot at level 1 that you're using in story mode is the exact same weapon as the Splattershot. So if you've been playing single player and you're a little bit intimidated to go into versus, you already know how to use this and you have nothing to lose for at least trying. This weapon is really what you make it. It can be offensive, allowing for fast advancement, overwhelming an enemy by moving toward them quickly if you're smart with strafing, or if you prefer a more defensive approach, you can get within firing range before being noticed, and few weapons that can reach you will be able to outpace the Splattershot's damage rate. Speaking of the firing rate and the range, this is a particularly good weapon at stopping Krakens from getting close as they can't move toward connecting shots. The sub-weapon on this set is the Burst Bomb, first time seeing this one. This is a weaker splat bomb that instead of detonating about a second later, will detonate on contact and it consumes less ink to use. It takes 2 direct hits for a burst bomb to splat opponents at full health, whereas indirect hits will do anywhere from 25 to 35 base damage, depending on how close the bursts were to the target. They have many, many uses, and these things are amazing. They can flush out an enemy, they can damage someone to stick them in ink before a follow-up attack, they can check to see if enemies are hiding nearby before advancing around a corner, they can finish someone off after revealing their location, filling in small patches of ink in turf wars as you swim by and don't have anything else to do. You can quickly ink walls and climb up them, quick getaways, easy maneuverability. This is widely considered to be one of the best subs there is, and there was even a time before this thing received a bunch of nerfs where it was often argued that for a weapon to be viable in high-level play, it had to have burst bombs. I never personally agreed with that, but it was an opinion that you saw quite a bit, and for good reason. And it gets even better when the special is Burst Bomb Rush. This gives unlimited use of burst bombs for 6 seconds of base time. With no special duration up used, this grants as many as 16 free burst bombs per use. This special has only one major downside that I'd watch out for. Getting too mash happy with it and not paying attention to the fact that it's already over and accidentally using up all of your ink on your sub-weapon after it's worn off. Trust me, I have had many easily avoidable deaths happen to me because I didn't realize my bomb rush was over and was still mashing the button and had nothing to defend myself with when somebody shot me. Another nice tip with throwing burst bombs to ink a lot of turf really fast is to jump when throwing to get some extra distance. Can also help with hitting enemies, as with any attack, it has more range whenever you're jumping. Here's the equipment recommendations, and yeah, I really do mean it when I say everything else. It's not a joke. The Splattershot is such a balanced basic weapon that there's no ability out there that doesn't benefit it in a meaningful way. I greatly recommend the abilities that I've outright listed here above all others, but experiment. Build based on your playstyle. It's what you make it. And that is even more so true with the second of these sets. Unlocked at level 4 is the Tenatech Splattershot. If you've played more than 2 games of Splatoon in your life, you've seen this thing. It is one of the most commonly played weapons out there, and as funny as it sounds for all the praise I gave the regular Splattershot, this is commonly considered to be the superior of those two. If there was ever a custom version of a weapon that's more popular than the original, it's this one. The combination of the sub and special weapons caused this to be seen as somewhat of a jack of all trades. Its sub-weapon is the Suction Bomb, also our first time seeing this, lots of firsts. These are slower detonating splat bombs that stick to any surface. Except for, well, water. With practice, throwing a suction bomb out of view from an enemy's line of sight on a wall or a low ceiling can make for easy splats before they can act accordingly. It is best used, however, for flushing out opponents so that you can attack them easily. It's like laying a trap. Because it explodes so slowly, people will certainly run away from it. If you rush where they're logically going to run to, you'll either kill them, they'll be stuck taking the bomb going boom, or even a combination of the two where you get in a little bit of damage and the bomb finishes them off. Its special is Inkzooka, also our first time seeing this. It's an insta-kill super weapon that lasts for 6.5 seconds of base time. In addition, it has the second best range of any shooting attack in the game, and its shots travel over walls, making it ideal for taking out snipers, opponents on higher ground that are far away, or just creating long lines of ink for your allies to swim through. When using it, be mindful of a few debuffs that it gives you. You have greatly decreased run speed while you're holding it, it has a slow firing rate, and it also has recoil after each shot. You can cancel this recoil by turning into a squid while in your own ink immediately after shooting it, but be mindful of it if you're going to be spamming. There's also the fact that the pillars it shoots travel straight, meaning that shooting from higher ground can cause it to travel over enemies' heads. Think of it like a real tornado. You'd want to be under it to avoid being ripped to shreds. Of course, even though this is insta-kill, I wouldn't recommend activating it in close combat simply because a missed shot is probably going to spell certain death due to the slow rate of fire. And I am going to divert into a biology lesson. Trees are a squid's natural-born enemy. Not any sort of animal that eats squids, which I don't actually know what any of them are, but seriously, do not fire the Inkzooka under a tree. If an enemy is close enough to a wall opposite to the shots, including splash walls, it's also possible for them to avoid your Inkzooka completely. Talking about the Tenatech Splattershot as a complete package, you got good damage, decent range, above average firing rate, bombs, decent turfing capabilities, and a special that outranges almost everything in the game. Pretty much every offensive attack in the game is there in at least some capacity, and there's no map that it feels outright useless in. A good Tenatech player can regain a team's losing control of the map. Its only real weak point is the fact that it has heavy special depletion, so when it dies, it'll lose a lot more of its special gauge than, well, a weapon with normal special depletion. I think you understand the terminology there. Heck, they practically invented the special depletion stat as a way of giving the Tenatech at least something to be bad at. Seriously, this thing is very good. Completing the trinity of amazing yet average Splattershot weapons that feel good on just about every map is the Wasabi Splattershot. This is our first example of a Sheldon's Pick weapon. These are third variants of weapons that tend to have radically different playstyles than the first two variants and are always unlocked at level 20. Has the same stats, except it has medium special depletion. Its sub is the Splat Bomb, and for once we have actually seen this before, so we can skip the intro explaining how it works. Editing those things was getting kind of tiring, so I welcome this. This explodes faster than its suction brother, probably the name of a dirty movie? So, well-placed throws will equal splats a bit more often, whereas the suction bomb more frequently is used to manipulate enemy movement for a trap. Its special is the Ink Strike. First time going over this. It was nice while it lasted. It's a missile that rains down a torrent of ink over an area on the map. I haven't gone over this yet though, but there are other gameplay modes in Splatoon other than Turf Wars that we'll be getting to a lot later, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Ink Strike is particularly helpful in Splat Zones in addition to Turf Wars. It's one of the cheapest specials to use, requiring 180 points. One of the great things about Ink Strike is just letting it fly right at the very end of the time limit in Turf Wars. It'll be allowed to finish its animation just so long as it launched before the time limit was up, and your opponent can't really do anything about it because they can't shoot to cover it up after the time limit's expired. Just launch it at an area of the map that they have completely covered so you take as many points from them as possible, and this'll spell a win for you more often than you'd expect. It's great. All in all, performs very well in Splat Zones, performs very well in Turf Wars, and if there's a map that the Tenatech just isn't very good at, this is usually pretty good at those maps. There's a splatter shot for every situation. With all that in mind, time to look at the map rotations. Not like this really matters because Splattershot is good on pretty much anything, but it is important in which of the three I'm going to pick. You see how that works. First off for Turf Wars are Kelp Dome. What are they studying in the Kelp Dome anyway? Algebra. Algebra! Marie's getting in my good graces. Even though we're high up, Judd still sees everything. He loves it here. It's like a giant cat tower. And now, the current ranked battle stages that we don't need to pay any attention to because we can't even... Well, okay, we can technically play it though, but yeah. Let's go onward into the lobby and I'll try to put together an equipment set. It's not terribly different from what we used on the Splattershot Junior, but this is the equipment spread I decided to go with. And I know it's a little boring that I'm using the Tenatech Splattershot because it is the standard jack-of-all-trades weapon, but I do think it would probably be the best one to use on the current map rotation. Of course, I went with the 1 main of damage up. I never go anywhere without that when playing a Splattershot, just my personal preference. Gotta have those movement speed ups on just both fronts. Bomb range up, 1 sub of that's not gonna do much good on its own, but it's better than nothing, and at least it is benefiting me in some meaningful way, if only by a little bit. These shoes, though, I'm probably gonna be wearing these shoes so much over the course of the game, and it does, well, okay, it does have something to do with me being a fan of Converse, but still, these shoes are one of my personal best pieces of equipment, and I do believe these to be one of the best pieces of equipment in the entire game. You see them run a lot. Get it? Run. It would actually be funny if it had a lot of run speed up instead of swim speed up. Please do not swim with your shoes on. Ugh. Second time we're on that topic this time. First match of the day, and it's Moray Towers. A lot of us non-sniping types aren't fans of this, and I happen to be one of those such players. If you look down at the map on the gamepad, this place is enormous. It is not the largest in terms of total surface area, but when we're talking about just area in general, these drops are huge, just all around a very big map. And as you would expect, it favors snipers a lot, and they have one and we don't. Fun time for all. And by all, I mean them and not us, because that's how it always is. Yeah, sniper's already putting in work over there. He doesn't know I'm here. I don't think he does. I've been pressured by the Ink Strike. Hey! Hey, buddy, okay, good. Gonna try to get by while he hopefully still didn't see me. Just gonna try to get over here really quickly. And, trying to be careful here. Just wanting to, oh gosh. Hey, is it, yeah, I think that was you again. Wow, Meso Honey. Is that what happens when you eat lots of honey and you don't have a napkin? You get a Meso Honey all over your face. Hey, long narrow hallway. Thy name is Inkzuka. And also death, that too. They done a sprinkler in desperation. I don't typically see that there. It's not really the best at shielding you, but okay. I guess to be fair, I died too, so I'm not really one that can talk smack about it. It happened to me as well. What I generally like doing on this map is just, when the other team's got a sniper and we don't, I like to play aggressively if I'm not the sniper on the team. It's generally really nice to push back the enemy so they can't do much of anything, just kind of get in their base. You'll be the beacon that your team is jumping to if you can maintain survivability for long. Does he not see? Oh, never mind. He's gonna try to let my bomb do my killing for me. Hey! Oh. What is it with people just kind of standing there and taking it this time? These are not low-level players. Speaking of which, the ink brush was even kind of standing there for a minute until I showed up. You, are you going up there to try to get me from up top, maybe? They're just kind of hanging around in the same place. Maybe I shouldn't be playing this. You know what? No, let's just swing fire forward. I'm thinking about this way too much. It's an ink brush. I don't need to worry about it. I greatly outrange it. Don't need to worry about that whatsoever. Again, a bit of a weird weapon for this map. Got my Inkzooka. I'm gonna see if I can get in a good opportune moment to use this. Hey, I see a good opportune moment to use this. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay, that was cool. That was cool. That was cool. I'm not usually very good with the Inkzooka though, but I'm up. Man, where are they? Did they have a disconnect or something? I see that on the top of the screen they have 3 squids. Another. They didn't have a disconnect. No, we're just pushing them back. I guess my aggressive playstyle did very well. You gonna stand there? Yes, you are. Okay. Not complaining, mind you. You can kindly die. And you 2 people were super jumping to the same place at the same. Oh, all right. Pad out my kill counter. Can I throw a bomb? Yeah, I guess. And that's that. No questions asked that we won that. That was very, very easy. For the map that I was dreading and being so worried about them having a sniper, nah, I think we did pretty well. Let's see the damage. Got 11 kills, died twice. And wow, we had some low-level people on our team and we still did that well, not bad. I know that level doesn't necessarily equate to skill, it's just level of experience, just how many matches you've won/played. You will be higher leveled faster if you do win, but not necessarily equating to skill. It's just a little bit surprising to see. Now watch, after all that waiting, we're gonna be playing Moray Towers again, so I'm gonna cut it out because I wanna show that, yep, I know how to call them. I'm kind of glad that I'm kind of glad this wasn't our first game of the day because we have 3 10-attacks on our team and they have 2 wasabi splatter shots on their team. Not exactly the most exciting of all matchups. As far as the stats are concerned, wasn't my fault. Wow, I got Moray Towers 3 times in a row, and on the 3rd match, I leveled up to level 49. Hey, finally, Kelp Dome! Those of you first-timers, you will quickly learn that map rotation is not 50-50 and it's out to get you. It's like, yeah, we can play Moray Towers like 6 times, but no, we can't actually get to the map that you want to play. Kelp Dome is just that. It's a map that I always want to play. It's one of my personal favorites, and that's an opinion that I see mirrored in the community a lot. It's won some best map polls. I just see a lot of praise sung of it in general. It's also another absolutely massive map, but unlike Moray Towers, it doesn't really favor snipers, and did I not get that kill? Occasionally, like a minute later after you get a kill, it'll say, hey, you actually did splat that person, they just had a really bad connection. Maybe I'll get lucky. Well, that didn't take long. Based on my encounters with that player in other games, they are definitely not the best ink brush player in the world, but who can blame you? It's ink brush. Them's fighting words. Wow. I am a crack shot with this. I don't even know if crack shot means good. I hope it does, but I have been very on point with the Inkzooka, which, again, I wasn't really expecting to be. So, Kelp Dome. You got 2 options. You can fight on the ground, and there are all these ramps you can go off of that let you get places really quickly, or you can go on top of these grates and shoot from up above. This can be really, great for some shots that you can make that you wouldn't be able to make otherwise, but shooters generally have a bit of a hard time shooting directly underneath themselves, so be forewarned of that. Any sort of anything that's a one-hit kill will take great advantage of your vulnerability when you're on those grates. In fact, I didn't initially like this map because I was spending so much time on the grates and I wasn't doing a good mix of the fighting styles. You can die, and you can die too after you don't swing at me. I wish I could read Japanese so I could know what your name was. I really do. I wish I could give you a name. Let's see. It looks like... no, those don't look like any English characters. Well, the last one looks kind of like an H, so we'll call you H again. Inkzooka... Oh, gosh. Inkzooka's a little bit awkward to deal with if you have any sort of map that has any low ceilings. Probably the only maps the Tenatech wouldn't be recommended for are maps that have low ceilings like that. Museum de Alfonsino is one of them. We haven't seen it yet, though, but just kind of throwing that out there. I don't think these grates are affected by it. I kind of want to test it out, but at the same time, I don't have a good reason to use it right now. Oh, wait. There's my good reason. No, it's not. Good. I was right. I was a little bit intimidated because it's one of those details I don't think about too often. And what is up with my Ingzuka game today? Jeez. I'm so happy that I'm doing that well with the Ingzuka. Let's, oh no, crap. That was the worst throw ever of all time. The reference needed to be made. It was just there. Got you. They're pushed back. They have a danger sign on their thing. I don't think they're gonna recover from that. Dang. Got anything else? I could destroy the sprinkler because I don't have anything else to do. I deserve that. I deserve that. I got cocky. Throwing a... Is that... I don't think that's going to do anything. No, we still have the bigger squids on top of the screen. We're good. Wow, I got quite the winning streak when I'm actually choosing to show these matches. I swear I'm not doing that on purpose. That was my first match in Moray Towers. This was my first match on Kelp Dome. Man. 11 kills. Same stats even. Wow. Almost got the most turfing too, man. I'm pretty happy with those results. All right, well, that is the Tenatech splatter shot. How about we head back to Inkopolis Plaza and we talk to a certain little fat cat. Nothing little about him. After you have played some matches, particularly if you're on a winning streak, always remember to talk to Judd. Your vibe is toasty. Here's the little bonus of 100... whatever those are called. Meow. Turf wars are all about taking territory and then holding on to it. There are multiple bottlenecks around the stage, so defend them as a team. If your team gathers in one location, you're more likely to get wiped out. Trust your allies to hold their own fronts. Use your team as a wall. You hear about that? Use your allies as cannon fodder so they get shot and you don't. Every time that you win a match, you get +1 added onto that meter on the right there, and every time you lose 0.5. You want to get a net gain, talk to Judd, get lots of coins. The higher the win streak you have, the more coins he will give you. It resets every map rotation. Just in general, talk to Judd every time that you're done playing. It's a good thing to keep in mind. But with that, I think we're going to end things off for now. Next time on Splatoon, we are going to be rolling some heads, quite literally. See you guys then.